Painting a floral wreath can be such a fun way to explore watercolor flower painting. And so in this video today, I'm going to show you how to paint this one. This is a Christmas theme based floral wreath where I picked the purple and yellow colors in particular. But you can paint this subject with any color you have at your disposal. My name is Lisa and this is the Lulu Blue Studio. Let's start painting together this floral wreath. To keep everything super simple, in this tutorial of this watercolor flower wreath, we're going to use mainly two brushes. The first brush we're using is a Princeton Select Filbert brush, and I'm using this in size 8 because I'm taking advantage of the shape of its head to create the petals of my flowers. In a second moment, we are going to use a round brush in size 6 just to add a few details like leaves, but we will talk about this in a few minutes. For now, we just take our filbert brush and we mix on our color palette some Cobalt Violet and Quinacridone Purple. I just use the shape of this brush to create the petals of these flowers. I use the side of my brush to create thin petals, while instead I use the belly of this brush when I want to create thicker petals. The actual shape of this composition is actually a circle. If you feel more comfortable, you can start this flower composition by creating a circle with your pencil. But I want to show you how it's not necessary to do so, because with this example, the flowers are all going to be added more or less on an imaginary line that I have in the center, and I'm going to add the petals left and right at the center, and as you will see, when we are going to paint these flowers, we will always be very flexible to add the petals where we feel they are missing. So in this tutorial, I'm not gonna paint or I'm not gonna draw any pencil circle, but if you feel more comfortable to do so, please go ahead and create the center, the circle, before adding these brush strokes. This is the way I'm approaching this floral wreath. In first place, I'm gonna start to create these loose style flowers that are created just by touching with the side or the belly of this filbert brush the paper, and I've used as my main colors purple and yellow. So the purple is a mixture mainly of Quinacridone Purple and Cobalt Violet, while instead for the yellow flowers I picked yellow ochre and lemon yellow. This floral wreath is a perfect exercise to practice your brush strokes and your color values, because when you're adding paint to the paper, you need to remember to remove part of the pigment in the cup of water here and there in order to create brush strokes that are much lighter. Beside the two main hero colors, purple and yellow, I've decided to add to this floral wreath a little bit of blue touch. And in this case, I'm using my round brush in size 6, this is a Princeton brush, to add round brush strokes between the purple and yellow flowers. So these blue little flowers are a very important element in this floral wreath because they have a different shape compared to the petals that I've created in loose style in purple and yellow. All the purple and yellow flowers are created with a filbert brush and they are quite elongated in shape, while all the little secondary flowers I'm adding now in blue color are just created with the tip of a round brush, and so they differ from the yellow and purple flowers because they are in round shape. This difference in shape and in size really helps to look at the whole composition and find some variety that really brings movement. The first approach then to this floral wreath is really to create a round shape of loose style flowers, mainly using some purple color and some yellow color. Remember to remove part of the pigment in the cup of water to create this different type of petals, and also remember that you can always optimize the shape of your floral wreath just by adding a few brush strokes more left or more right in order to obtain a circular shape. It is up to you to decide how long you want each stretch to be. For example, if you want a longer purple stretch compared to the yellow stretch, or for example, if you want to have yellow flowers in the same amount as the purple flowers. In my case, I've decided to create this whole watercolor flower wreath by having more or less the same amount of yellow and purple flowers, but by the end I will give a little bit more details to the purple flowers because I really liked how this color really pops next to the yellow brush strokes. So keep watching this tutorial to see how I will add more details to the purple flowers in order to have them pop even more in this watercolor flower composition. You can also play and create a similar watercolor flower wreath just by using a round brush instead of a filbert brush. The shape of the round brush will make the petals a little bit longer and probably a bit thinner, but the results can still be very pretty. While you paint the main flowers in yellow and purple color, remember to stop here and there to take your round brush and add a few round details in blue color that are the secondary flowers that we have decided, as we said, to add to bring a little bit more movement. If you add these blue elements while the yellow and purple paint is still wet, you will obtain beautiful blending effects. If you instead wait for the yellow and purple flowers to be completely dry, these blue elements, these blue filling flowers, are going to be completely defined, and it's up to you to decide which type of effect you want to achieve for your watercolor flower wreath. In my case, I've decided to add a few blue brush strokes where the paint is still wet, while others are added where the flowers are completely dry, and therefore I have some areas where the blue flowers are really popping from the purple and yellow flowers, while in other areas these blue elements are really blending with these main colors. So far, we have mainly used three colors: purple, yellow and blue, and we have just outlined the overall shape of this watercolor floral wreath. It will be up to us to add in a second moment other details through the wet on dry technique to bring this floral wreath really to life. And while I close this floral wreath, I just want to remind you that I have created a free ebook for you to download. The name is The Beginner's Guide to Watercolor Flower Painting, and you can download it by clicking on the link in the description down below. This is an essential companion if you are a beginner watercolor artist, because I really dive into supplies, techniques, and I even show you how to paint some easy flowers. And now back to our watercolor flower wreath. I'm taking my round brush in size 6 to start to add a few green elements all around this composition. I have mixed on my color palette mainly some Sap Green with a little bit of Azomethine green yellow, which is a type of green that is very bright and towards the yellow color. So there is a sort of connection between the green elements and the yellow flowers that I've created in first place. These leaves are created just by pressing onto the paper the round brush in size 6. So the shape is very simple and it really fits well with the shape also of the petals that I've created with the filbert brush in first place. It is up to you to decide where you want to add these green elements. In my case, I've decided to never put these leaves on top of the purple flowers or the yellow flowers, but always to have them that are coming off the inner and outer circle. When the lighter green leaves are painted, I then decided to add some contrasting brush strokes in Cobalt Green Dark, and therefore I added some darker leaves that are following the same path as the lighter leaves all over this floral wreath. To create a deeper connection even between the green elements and the flowers, I even mixed a little bit of Sap Green with Quinacridone Purple to create an even darker mixture of green to create a few brush strokes all around the floral wreath. When you are creating these leaves, remember to have them in different shapes and sizes. So some leaves can be a little bit longer than others, and other can be, for example, a little bit thinner. And then I started to add another element that are sort of red berries all around. I've decided to add these red berries to give it more of a Christmas vibe to the whole floral wreath. And therefore I'm mixing mainly a little bit of Scarlet Red with a touch of Quinacridone Purple, and I'm just adding these round shaped berries all around this floral wreath. I am not creating perfect round shape berries, but I'm just touching with the tip of my brush the page, and I'm creating some small berries and some berries that are a little bit bigger in size. And while I'm adding these red berries, I'm also letting the whole watercolor piece to dry. It is at this point that I take back my filbert brush in size 8 and I start to add a few details through the wet on dry technique. In this way, I'm adding a few brush strokes, mainly using the side of the brush and a mixture of Quinacridone Purple and Cobalt Violet on the purple flowers. I am sort of highlighting a few petals that are sort of peeking from the whole composition, and as you can see, these brush strokes are really highlighting some of the flowers in this whole floral wreath. I think this step is as important as all the other steps that we have followed in the creation of this watercolor flower piece, because really these brush strokes are bringing to life this composition. So I encourage you not to skip this step and to really go through and add these brush strokes through the wet on dry technique. Following this same concept, I use a little bit of Azomethine green yellow to add a few light brush strokes into this floral wreath. Painting this type of watercolor flower composition can be a great exercise to practice your brush strokes and improve your watercolor skills. I truly believe you can use this type of subject to create beautiful cards for Christmas for your friends or for your family, or in a similar way other cards to celebrate other moments in your friends or family's life. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video.